Hello, Wedgwood Warriors. I'm Mike Watkins. Thanks for joining me. Today we're talking about how drugs and alcohol affects our Wedgwood Warriors here at Wedgwood Middle School. So joining me now is Malik Moss. Malik, how are you?
I'm very good. How about you?
I'm doing great, thanks. So I want to talk about this, and I want to start with this question. Do you believe that drugs and alcohol can affect a person's personality and behavior?
Yes, because some people that use drugs, they'll become silly and hallucinate sometimes and
Right.
be delusional and stuff. Or, like, they'll have mad anger issues.
Okay, definitely. So do you think vaping is harmful for teens?
Yes, because some teens that vape don't even know that they have, like, what is it called?
I guess just an addiction
Like,
to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Okay. All right, definitely. So what do you think is the most harmful and most used drug used by teens here at Wedgwood Middle School? Because it's a lot. I mean, what do you think is the most used?
I think the most used will be, like, vaping, like people using pens or marijuana.
Yeah, weed and marijuana, because vaping and weed is just really a popular one amongst teens here at Wedgwood. So definitely, I do gotta agree with you on that. Okay, so what do you think will help fight the drug abuse and the war against drug abuse amongst teens in America?
Well, since we're at school and most of the drugs are coming to school, we should have dogs in front of our school. So as we walk in to go to the auditorium, the dogs will pick up a smell. And
Right.
They do.
Right, that is definitely a good point. Drug dogs or dogs, period, definitely. So what has been your own experience with drugs here at school and just drugs, period?
I haven't come into anybody using drugs or I haven't used drugs. So
All right, I mean, is it highly used here? I mean, do you see a lot of people using it?
I don't see people using it, to be honest.
No.
I do my own thing. I go to my classes. And,
Yeah, that's really good. Well, we thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, and now I'm joined by Aaron Maglianis. How are you?
Good, and you?
I'm doing good. So I want to talk to you about drugs and alcohol. So do you believe that drugs and alcohol impacts a person's personality and behavior? How does it impact their behavior?
Yes, because, like, it's depending on how much of the drug they take and, like, what type of drug it is.
Yeah, definitely. So do you believe that vaping is harmful?
Vaping a lot.
Do you think vaping, why is it harmful?
Because vaping has, like, nicotine, and that's not good for your
No, it's not. It's not good at all. So what do you think is the most used drug by teens here at Wedgwood and just teens in general?
THC.
Yeah. Weed, a lot of vaping pens and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely. They disguise them as USB drives when we know they're they're not USB drives. No. All right. So what do you think can help fight the drug abuse problem at our school and just with teens in general, really?
I don't know, really, probably problems with kids, like with their families and stuff, because they really just be doing it because of, like, problems at home.
Exactly.
Problems that we don't know about.
Right, exactly. I definitely agree with everything you just said. A lot of people in their home are doing drugs, and they're getting it from people in their home.
Right.
So that's exactly what it is. So what has been your experience with drugs? I mean, have you seen kids doing drugs here at Wedgwood? I mean, is there a culture here with that? What has been your experience with that?
I mean, nah, not really. I haven't seen. I've heard, but I haven't seen myself.
Right, and that's a lot of people. They've seen it, but they haven't really, they've heard it, but they haven't really seen it, and that's the common, that's the common thing going on here, right? We know it's happening, but I haven't seen it with my two eyes, so I definitely agree with what's going on here. So I do definitely agree with that. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Thanks. And now I'm joined by Kaylee Francis. How are you?
I'm good. What about you?
I'm doing great, thanks. So I want to talk about this. I want to ask you some of these same questions because I want to get a perspective from everybody here at Wedgwood. So do you think that drugs and alcohol affects a person's personality? If so, how?
I do strongly believe that it does affect a person's personality because it can, like, make them moody or bipolar, and it can also cause mental disease.
It does. It really does. Now, do you think that vaping is harmful?
I do think that vaping is harmful because it first is coming from an electronic device. You shouldn't take something out of an electronic device and put it into your system.
Right.
And it's just the substance that it's made with, all the chemicals, it's not good for you.
Right, and people are disguising it as a USB drive and all of that. I mean, it's not really good for you. Okay, so what do you think is the most common? I'm gonna ask you the same question again because I know it's mixed answers from different people. So what do you think is the most used drug for teens here at Wedgwood and just teens in general, period? I mean, I think everybody knows kind of a general answer, their own opinion, but what do you think it is?
weed, of course, and edibles.
Right. Weed, edibles. I mean, everybody is using that kind of stuff because it seems like that's the popular thing now, right?
Yes.
It's a culture. It's a popular thing. Right. So, what do you think will help fight the war against drug abuse amongst teens in America?
Well, first, I would, if it were me trying to help a teen fight drug abuse, I would try and figure out why they started using drugs in the first place. Instead of cutting the plant at the stems, go to the roots.
Right. I would try to go to the root of the problem. That's a great, and get them counseling too, because counseling would definitely help them with their problem. So definitely. So what has been your experience with drugs and just different things like that? Has anyone approached you about drugs? I mean, what's been with that? I mean, what's your experience with that?
I've never had a person approach me about drugs. I've never really involved myself with drugs either.
Because of the culture at this school where people are using drugs in certain areas, you know, so it's definitely something. Well, we thank you for your time. We appreciate you coming on. We appreciate it. All right, so join me now is Officer Penley. How are you, Officer?
I'm very good.
Good. So what is your role here on campus?
My role at Wedgwood Middle School is to provide safety and security for all the students and faculty here at the school, just making sure everybody's safe throughout the day.
All right, so what would you say are the most important things that parents should know about teen drug and alcohol abuse?
That unfortunately it is a rampant problem that we do have, and we see it even down into some of the elementaries.
Right.
Middle school is a big place where it's at, and then obviously high school. Yeah. There's a lot more freedom with students to having cars, stuff like that.
Exactly.
More access to getting to parties and actually going and picking up things on their own, stuff like that. So
yeah, that's fine, definitely. So are there signs that parents need to be aware of for drug and alcohol abuse, signs for children? So
yeah, there can be some signs like violence, as they tend to act out a little more if they're being maybe intoxicated or under the influence of drugs. Insomnia is another one that kids just can't sleep at night, basically, and then other things like grade performance, poor eating habits, things like that, lack of desire to go outside and do things. So.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So any other information you should share with families here about drug and alcohol abuse?
We have a lot of resources here at Wedgwood through our counselors, and then also just through the police department. You can go and also just call our non-emergency phone number, and they can put you in touch with a lot of different resources for drug counseling and addiction programs.
Yeah. So what, really in your opinion, what do you think parents should do when they first see drugs, with their kids? I mean, what action do you think they should take?
Well, hopefully they've already set a foundation to educate the kids about not taking drugs, not drinking alcohol at a young age, things like that. Yeah. When it comes to that, you just want to be proactive in your kid's life. You want to make sure that you're involved. You're not an outside parent looking in. You want to be involved with your kids' daily activities, and that's going to be the best deterrent, really.
Exactly, and that's a simple thing. So, how do you think alcohol impacts a person's personality and behavior, and how?
Oh, I mean, it can, again, like we went over, it could be an issue with failing school, maybe stealing stuff from store to be able to pawn or sell to friends or whatever, so that you can feed an addiction like alcohol or drug use. So.
Right. Okay, definitely. So what do you think is the most used drug for teens overall in your experience?
Well, there's going to be two. One is going to be marijuana.
Yeah.
And then, because it's pretty easily gotten through friends and other people. But then another big thing, and maybe even bigger than marijuana, is just going to be prescription. Right. Because, if you think about it, pretty much everybody has prescriptions in their home. Right. Parents take, high blood pressure medicine or whatever the case may be. Exactly. It's very easily accessible for kids to get. So prescription drugs is probably number one.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that too. Yeah, so what has been your experience with drugs and alcohol?
We're trained through the police academy during our time in there to identify drugs, and then there's actually programs that we have in our police academy where you can become a drug recognition expert. Right. So just take some additional class, and they go a lot more into depth. But we're all trained to identify drugs, and then we have a lot of resources that we can use to, if we come in contact with some prescription pills that we don't readily recognize, we can put them into a system and find out what they actually are. Yeah,
exactly. That's good. So, what do you think will help fight the war and just this whole drug problem we're having with teens in America?
Sure. Obviously money's a big thing. We need to fund the programs that will educate the public into the issues that we have of the major drug use and alcohol use in our young teens.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's definitely a good one. We thank you for joining us. We thank you for taking some time out to be with us.
absolutely.
All right, so joining me now is Medea, or our 8th grade counselor. Miss Lee, how are you?
No, I'm a dear today.
Yeah. Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing great, Michael. How you doing?
I'm doing good. So, how do you think drugs and alcohol impacts a person's personality? How so?
You know, I see these kids running around here all day long and acting crazy. I think they got to be on drugs.
Yeah,
That's right.
they gotta be on something. They're on something, but they're
Yeah,
on
that's
something.
right. That's right.
Yeah. So, do you believe vaping is harmful?
Vaping.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what you talking about? Some vaping.
Jewel pens and the
Jewels. I
USB.
had some jewels one day. They was all on my neck and really looking good.
Yeah.
I don't know about no smoking things.
Yeah, they just got me those USB drives.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, some little, looking like some electronic pens. And
Yeah.
Yeah, those things are not good for you.
No.
I see people coughing and mixing up your lungs.
No.
Yes.
No, they're not. They're not. So, what do you think is the most used drug for teens here at Wedgwood and just across America?
You know, it's got to be the chronic. So I think y'all call it weed or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that, all that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I think that must be what the children are doing right
Yeah.
about now. Mhm.
THC, all that crazy
Yeah.
mumbo jumbo.
Mhm, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, what do you think? What has been your experience with drugs and alcohol?
Well, you know, I can tell you, it's really not something that I needed. You know, I was more into dancing. I was dancing. That
Yeah.
was my drug of choice. You know, I decided I was going to be the dancer. I will show you some of my moves right now.
Yeah.
But, you know, hold on, my arthritis.
Y'all.
So I ain't going to do
Yeah.
that today. But,
Yeah.
you know, I really think that it's something that we got to stay away from. And parents really need to talk to their children about
Yeah.
the drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, definitely. You gotta talk to your children about that.
That's right,
Definitely.
that's right.
Yeah, I agree. So, what do you think will help fight the war against drug abuse? I'm sorry.
You know, the belt. I really think that there needs to be, the Bible says, to
Yeah,
spare the rod, you spoil the child. We need to get the belt out a little more often.
that's right.
And,
That's
you know,
right.
People need to have dinner with the children. They need to
Shoot.
sit down.
Need to put it
sometime
back
and
into school.
Eat
Shoot.
dinner with the kids and just talk to the children. You know, you
Shoot.
can't fuss at them all the time.
That's right.
Sometimes
Shoot.
you need to talk to some children. That's what
Yeah,
you need to do.
yeah, that's
That's
right.
it. That's what's gonna
Hey, it
be
used to be in school, but
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, be in
you used
school.
to be in school, take them
That's
around back. Yeah, shit.
Yeah, okay.
Straighten them up.
That's it. Take
Right.
them back to the back.
Yeah, would you? Yeah,
Okay.
chill.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Well, thank you for joining me. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you
Michael.
so much. We appreciate your time. Thanks.